بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وأفضل الصلاة وأتم التسليم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. أسأل الله تبارك وتعالى أن يجعل نياتنا خالصة لوجهه الكريم. I praise Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. I ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to send countless blessings and salutations on Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, his family, his companions, and all those who follow them in excellence until the day of judgment. And I ask Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala to grant us the sincere intention. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. So I want to continue in telling us about the 5th annual African American Islamic Summit coming up the weekend of May 5th through the 7th in Atlantic City. Yesterday, we started talking about our methodology, our overall methodology in terms of the deen, which is the methodology of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. And I mentioned that primarily because if we don't understand that, our foundation, what could develop, which I won't participate in, is religious confusion. There's something we must realize in our effort to improve our situation as a community, as Muslims, as a people, is that not everybody's going to be saved. Religiously, we must understand that not everybody's going to be saved. Some people, Allah eternally willed that they're going to be misguided, disbelievers, and some of those misguided people would be reformed. Some of them would remain misguided. Some would be entered into paradise after repentance or after punishment, and some will end in the hellfire forever. That's a religious reality. I'll repeat that. Not everyone is going to be saved. That's a realization. Among the people are going to be some who are misguided, but didn't reach the level of disbelief. There are going to be some who reach the level of disbelief. Among those misguided people, there are some who's going to repent and be forgiven. There are some who's going to enter the hellfire to be tortured for their sins and then admitted into paradise. And then there's those disbelievers who will be in the hellfire forever. This is by the will of Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. These are classes of people. So our objective is to be among those who are saved ultimately in the hereafter. And to be saved in the hereafter, we have to have, at the foundational level, the sound Islamic creed and belief, and to ensure that we need to follow that with the valid practice. In order to have a sound belief and a valid practice, that is why we follow the methodology of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. In terms of creed, in terms of practice, and also in terms of having a spiritual state with Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala. Because every other methodology is wavering by way of us confirming it from the path of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So in our communities, you never want to reach a point, which we have reached that point, not for everybody, but in general, it's a practice, where there's no rules. As long as you say you're a Muslim, do whatever you want. And that has become the state, to the point that when we see blatant contradictions of the sacred law, you will find sometimes people who know the religious judgment accepting those things. And actually, it can reach an extent that the religious judgment, and it is the valid religious judgment, and the valid understanding and implementation of that religious judgment can seem like extremism to people, to many people. So for us, in our methodology of doing what we do, we have to establish a firm grounding in the religious knowledge. That's number one. And Allah commanded us with that in the Quran when He, Tabaraka wa Ta'ala, said, وَاطَّصِمُوا بِحَبْلِ اللَّهِ جَمِيعًا وَلَا تَفَرَّقُوا. And hold on to the rope of Allah, which is Al-Quran, right? And never separate. So we have to be gathered on the correct belief and understanding and implementation of the Quranic imperatives. That is an obligation. And hence from that, we're also going to follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, the consensus of the Muslim scholars. This is very important. And that is our foremost objective in terms of improving our condition. There is no improvement of our condition without us adhering to the sacred law. And the sacred law and its principles and its methodology is something that the scholars of Islam have agreed upon. As the Prophet ﷺ indicated when he said, "Verily Allahu Tabaraka wa Ta'ala will never allow my nation to agree on misguidance. So whenever you see differences, then follow the majority of my nation." And the majority of the nation of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has always followed this methodology of Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. So that is very important that we understand that. Especially in the African American community, where misguidance in the name of Islam has spread far and wide. Far and wide. And we cannot be shy to have this conversation. It's very important that we have this conversation. There are many people who they want to run from the conversation that causes us to differ and not try to understand it and then think we're going to have unity. That is delusion. We know we have these religious differences that prevent our unity. If we don't iron them out, how do we expect ever to have unity? By ignoring them. We do that in our relationships often, and we're going to have this talk too. In our marriages, there is dysfunction, there is disagreement. People ignore the agreement and think the marriage is still going to remain successful. They never iron out the disagreements between the spouses, and they think we're just going to ignore it and it's going to go away. No, in fact, it probably will get worse. Have most of you experienced that when you see couples who go through marital discord, and they don't work it out, that it only gets worse? So they would be married for years and they never worked out the issue. And then 5 years, 6 years, 7 years, 8, sometimes 10 years, sometimes 20 years later, one of them says, I'm sick and tired of this. I've been putting up with your stuff for 10, 20 years and I'm done. Or the man or someone bounces and goes and finds him a mistress because they're not happy. They never was happy, but they never said anything. They just went on and on and on without taking care of the issue. We can't do that with our Islam, nor with our marriages. We see how it works out. It never works out. I've never seen it work out. So religiously, we can't do that, and we cannot do that in the marriage. So listen, I'm always going to be a person, so you get to know me. I'm going to always emphasize these issues. So sometimes we'll get together and someone will say, well, we're just going to get together and we're going to ignore the issue. I said, not me. No, I won't do that. We don't got to argue, but we're going to clarify these issues. So I'm never going to be on a stage, on a platform with someone who has, for instance, an incorrect creed or incorrect practice. And that's their position, and I don't clarify that's not my position. I don't care if we're talking about economy or the weather. I'm not going to leave that door open where someone would mistake that what is incorrect is acceptable. We don't have to argue. We don't have to debate, but we do have to clarify. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I don't agree with that process of we're just going to get together and we're only talking about the seerah. Yeah, you're talking about the seerah, but the person in the crowd thinks that since y'all talking about the seerah, y'all have overcame your differences. And then would end up following that misguided creed because of you. Where all you had to do is be clear, even if you didn't go into details, say these issues we differ, but this is not an acceptable difference between us. But we're talking about this issue where we agree. That's clarity. Okay, good. Let's talk. Do y'all follow my point here? It's very important. So at the summit, you may see a few individuals who are not Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. They're not Ashari or Maturidi. They don't follow one of the four schools, and they don't follow the way of Tasawwuf. They're welcome. They're, they're absolutely welcome. However, don't mix that we're talking about marriages or we're talking about our community. That means we accept this invalid practice. We don't. That should be clear, right? But even if we're not talking about that particular subject at the time, that point should still be clear. There should be no, confusion about that. And that's why our first session, and I recommend that all of you who can attend the Friday session, we clarify that. Before we do anything else, we clarify, as I mentioned, Friday, where we talk about the creed, we talk about al-fiqh, we talk about at-tasawwuf, and we talk about how all that comes together as Ahl Sunnati wal Jama'ah. That's from Friday from 4 to 10 at night. And that will be at Masjid Muhammad. That's first. We had a talk since my brother jumped in, and we had a talk Friday after Jumu'ah about this issue. And we were talking about our teachers and imams being clear in their position. You have imams who are Ahl Sunnah, but they are wafflers. Y'all know what I mean by waffler? The Pakistanis, they say wobbler. But I like to say waffler. They flipping up and down like pancakes. In other words, they are Sunni, but they don't want no smoke. So they won't say explicitly, we are Ashari, Maturidi, right? They'll say we follow a madhab, but then when it comes to Aqidah, because that's the controversial issue, and that's where you're going to get some smoke, they're going to try to like ease their way away from that. I don't believe in it at all, right? So anyone around me, that's not going to work. Clarity is extremely important. That is extremely important. So there's never, no confusion. Right? All right. So with that said, that part should be understood. Now, trust me, a lot of people don't like me because of that. But hey, a lot of our Sunni brothers, they keep a distance from me because of that. But hey, it is what it is, my man's. I ain't doing that. It make me feel like Imam Naeem. You doing your own stuff. All right, with that being said, that's one aspect. So now Saturday, so that's Friday, right? Saturday, we're going to actually talk about the state of the Black Muslim community. Our version of our State of the Union address. That'll be the highlight of it. But we're going to have several issues that will help us improve our state. Imam Talib Abdul Rashid has a presentation that I think is very important. And that presentation is the necessity of us developing a Black intelligentsia. We have to have our own scholarship, academic think tanks, research department. We need that. And we need it not just religiously, but also in the society, politically, socially, economically. All of the areas of our living, we need a Black intelligentsia. Not just religion, all of it. And all of it falls under religion when we understand deen, right? But we're talking about just the side of worshiping and devotion, not more than that. Actually, our interaction with people, right? And we have to learn to respect that process, because it is through that we're going to get guidance properly. This concept that has been given to us, where everybody do it yourself, and without the requisite knowledge to do it yourself, is disastrous for us. So I'm very interested in seeing how he's going to lay that out. I think that's very important. And during the summit, we're going to see what we have in our 3453 family access to, right? And I'm going to ask you during this summit to circle the wagon, to circle the wagons. I'm going to ask you to join our 3453 family so that we know what we're actually working with. Online, there's a lot of visitors. I cannot tell from online who's serious and who's entertaining themselves and who's just curious. So I look at it, three types of people: those who are serious about what we're talking about, and all of it. Those who are curious, they just like, let me see what they're doing over there. They're making a lot of noise. I see people, I see stuff, I see these numbers. Let me check it out. And then you got those who are just entertaining themselves. They're not really going to do anything, but they enjoy what we talk about. They enjoy me going on my stuff, and they enjoy Imam Boom Bap with his stuff, and Imam Genius, and they like sometimes the programs we have, the rawness of the Black Imams Roundtable. They like a little knowledge here and there too, so they like the classes, but they're not really going to do anything. They just entertaining themselves, right? So at the summit, we want to get the serious people who really ready to go to work, who's really committed to this journey we're on together, because we have a lot of work to do, and we need to know who's committed, who's really our family, not just visitors or friends or admirers. Because what we're going to lay out, and Dr. Issam Bagby is going to talk about a research that he did that's talking about how the African American community is declining. The African American Islamic community and masajid and leadership is on a decline. And he's going to give actual statistics to show how we're losing. And with that knowledge, we're going to come up with solutions how to fix that. And that's going to be all Saturday, right? That's extremely important because I say it all the time, but you might not have factual numbers to match it. I say we're becoming extinct as a community because I see it. But he actually did research with actual numbers to reflect that, what I keep saying. And then with Sister Aisha Pram and Sister Sabria Mills and Sister Noradine Knight, our female presenters, they're going to discuss these issues from the woman's perspective. And Sister Sabria Mills has a presentation that deals with what is that? Addressing the need to belong in the Black Muslim community. And that's really a big, I think that's a big subject. That a lot of us feel isolated as African American Muslims, Black Muslims. And that's something we got to deal with. What is it? What is it to be a part of or to be detached from? What does one go through with that? And you know, she's a coach and she goes through those issues. She talks to a lot of people. So that's a lot of experience there. That's her life work, right? So she's going to present on that. And everyone will have among the speakers, their say into that. So that's Saturday, what it looks like. And Sunday, oh, Sunday. What is Sunday going to look like? We said it. Let me see if you remember. What's Sunday going to be about? Do y'all remember? Family, what else? Family, marriage, healthy relationships. Yes, Sunday. So Sunday's going to deal with that. And so you're going to have Sunday, the morning sessions start at 10 o'clock. Make sure you're there. Don't miss the morning sessions because the morning sessions, don't be late. They're extremely important for you to understand the rest of the sessions during the day. So everyone set their alarm clocks at 9 o'clock to leave out your door to make it towards the venue, right? Don't be late. Don't come on CP time, right? The sessions will start at 10 o'clock in the morning. Make sure you're there, right? So that morning session is going to deal with an overview of the fiqh of marriage and the etiquette of marriage. Very important subject. And that will be by Sheikh Abdul Karim and Sheikh Nasser Abdul Salam, who's going to deal with this issue of the rules. Because many of us get married and start family without knowing the rules of how to do that religiously. And not only the rules, the manners and behavior that relate to having a spouse in the first place. Many of us run our relationships based on how we ran them in the dunya. No, we're married, but we don't know any Islamic rules or etiquette. It is, we married, and the rest of the stuff is how we used to run our relationships when we weren't Muslim. Many of us are like that. And Imams will tell you about that a lot. That, hey, we meet people, they're married, and they don't know any of the rules of marriage. They're making it up as they go along. And I think that's something we've made a big mistake of not teaching people before they engage in deeds. And that's just not just marriage and everything. Imam al-Bukhari, he had a whole section in his Sahih, in the book of knowledge. He said, the section, knowledge must precede statements and action. Al-ilmu qabla al-qawli wal-amal. Right? You have to learn first. You don't go into things and you don't know the rules related to it, the religious responsibilities and regulations related to that act. So that's important. And now no one has the excuse to say, I didn't learn and I didn't have access. No, we're going to put you in front of teachers. And all day, since it's early in the morning, all day long, you got access to those teachers and the imams. They're all going to be there to get your questions answered. And you should take advantage of that, because you're going to have Sheikh Abdul Kareem, Yahya, Sheikh Nasir Abdul Salam, Imam Naeem Abdullah, Imam Fahim Lee, Imam Sulaiman Hamid, Imam Dawood Walid, Sheikh Ibrahim Abdul Aziz, Imam Talib Abdul Rashid. You have a bunch of leaders and others who may not be speakers, but they're going to be present. Sheikh Yahya Baltimore. You have a lot of people there. Take advantage. You will never probably get that opportunity to have so many imams and teachers and sisters who learned Sheikh Aisha Pram, right? Sisters that's involved with imams, wives, and you got all that there who are in it. Take advantage. You got all weekend to talk to these people, right? To be hands-on. This ain't like no celebrity contest. You're going to see them. You're going to have access to them. You're going to be able to reach them. They're going to be right in your hands. Take advantage of it. Am I lunching? Right? That's a blessing. For me, that access is worth the whole thing, because many of us got issues. And we don't have people to ask. Well, you right there. Get them. And I'm going to make sure they're all available, right? They're right there. So whatever you're going through, you got several people to ask. And if they don't got the answer, they don't have the answer, they're going to direct you to the one who they think has the answer. So you have everything at your disposal right there all weekend long. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. If you don't get your issue solved that weekend or have access to getting help, shame on you. I don't know what to tell you. You're not wise, right? Everything is at your hands. So that got to start in the morning. So now you heard the discussion and you have all day. I had a case brought to me from someone, right? And let me see how I'm going to say this. All right, brothers, don't get mad at me. And sisters, don't get mad at me. Let me say it that way so I can say it without being Even though you don't know what I'm talking about, the person who said it to me know what I'm talking about. So I I need to say it in a different way. Let me think. Okay. Sisters, let me ask you a question. Have do you know of, even if it ain't you, so I'm gonna ask you, do you know it of, even if it's you? So don't say me. If you know of situations where sisters get married to brothers and you know the brother's full of crap and he's running game. Whether you know you've been the victim yourself or you know sisters who are victims like that. Do y'all see that happening? Brother running Islamic game, Sheikh ul Islam, homeboy hookup the homeboy hookup network. And the sister act like, I didn't know. He's knowledgeable. I'm sorry. He seems so knowledgeable. Oh my goodness, we crazy. Right? I'm sorry. Because I'm laughing because you ain't that stupid. Come on, stop. You wanted to be with him, so you went for the nonsense. You went for you knew it was nonsense when he was talking to you. You know he ain't nothing in the masjid, but he's the sheikh on the phone and when y'all are hanging out. In the masjid, he don't utter a word, right? But he's so knowledgeable. We a trip. I'm sorry. Um, so that guy is playing mufti with the sister for years sometimes. He making it up as he go along. And she going right along with it. And then she comes to the imam or the sheikh, and he manipulated me. No, your nafs manipulated. You knew he was full of it. You knew what was going on. But while your nafs were being fulfilled, you tolerated it. And then till it got unbearable, now you want to talk about it, which you should. But you should have in the beginning went to the imam, went to the sheikh, went to your elders before you even got in that stuff, right? Because most imams, a brother ain't gonna run no game on no imam. He ain't going for that. Not a real imam. He gonna tell them, especially black imams, Negro, you full of crap. Get out of here with that crap. Straight up. Because we get tired of that stuff. Because as imams, we're actually trying to build something. And if you a joker, you're gonna hear it. You can count on it. We don't got time for that. You know, as imams, we get women who be trying to seduce us. We get it all the time, right? And we have sometimes we have to navigate very carefully so we don't hurt people. But we be saying that stuff like, yo, sis, we don't do that. You got us all wrong. We like Malcolm in that the downfall of many leaders is their low desires towards women. We don't do that. No way. Absolutely not. So don't mistake the imam being friendly and kind to mean he's gullible to be seduced. No, don't mix that. Absolutely not. And all the imams will tell you the same thing. Now, I'm not saying there's some imams who fall off the wagon. That happens. But that's not the majority of us. Because most of us are a little bit too swift for that. Right? So because we're like that, so we know that the game can be played when we see brothers doing that, it really irritates us, right? Because these could be potential strong sisters in a healthy relationship, but you playing games. And if you a joker, you're going to turn her into an inactive person as well, because she knows she's being taken for a ride, and she may start transferring that stuff to Islam, not really that you a joker. So with all that access, if you in that situation, that's your chance to get it addressed. Or if you know someone in that situation, you got all this access right there. Answer all your questions. Don't go home still playing girlfriend, Islamic girlfriend, and you had access to get a real religious judgments on your situation. Don't do that. Take advantage of it. Y'all follow me? Y'all with me? Clear? And I see it a lot. I think I navigated around what I was going to say. I said it, but it's not explicit, right? Because sometimes when people come to you, you got to protect their privacy and their, you got to, so you can't even allude to it, even if you don't mention names. You have to find a way to get around that stuff. That's one of the most difficult challenges when, as a leader, when you know people's business. You want to address the issue without, you know what I mean, without pointing to people. It's very hard, but you got to learn to navigate that. But let me tell you another thing. Even when you hear imams talk about something, don't be so arrogant to think you're the one he's talking about all the time. You're not. Imams, teachers, therapists, they talk to a bunch of people with the same stuff. That's how they end up. So you may think that your situation is unique. Actually, they done talk to 20 people with the same situation as you. Your therapist is not only dealing with your issue. So when the therapist is talking, a lot of time they're talking from experience of your issue 20 times over. So the imam, is, not talking to you necessarily, even though your situation is addressed in the general thing, the imam. Why? Because there's other people who's saying the same thing, who's doing the same thing. You're not the only one being played by that brother. There's another sister being played by another brother. There's a brother being milked by another sister, doing stuff that he shouldn't be doing religiously because she's told him, mine's is mine's and yours is mine's. And he don't know no better. And he think that that's true. Yours is mine's and mine's is mine's. No, mine's is mine's, yours is yours, and mine's, what is required for you religiously is yours, not mine's. So mine's is mine's and yours is yours. Y'all got that, sisters? Whatever you're obligated in the religion to receive from your husband, that's yours, not his. That's your rights. And his money is his money. Of his money that he has to spend on you is your right. It's not his right to keep anyway. Do y'all follow that? So some sisters will come up with some of the weirdest things in the world that they want to make the man responsible for. Sis, he's not responsible for that. That's your stuff, right? And the rules are only going to teach you that. And remember, the rules are a base. That's not etiquette. That's not excellence necessarily that we're looking for in the marriage. That's just so you don't exceed the bounds. Y'all follow me? So all that's going to be discussed. Then we want to take some advice, and I think we all need to do it, from our elders who are like 65 and above. I think we need to sit down and let them talk to us and give us advice, so we don't keep repeating the same things that was already done. We need to sit down and listen to our elders, because they've already lived and been through what we're going through. And I think we need to take advantage of that in all of these issues, in our communities, in our marriage, in our relationships, all that stuff. And we need to hear their experience. We need a lesson. So we're going to do that as well. And then we're going to talk about something I think is extremely important. But the way we're going to talk about it is going to be in breakout sessions. And we're going to have therapists available after we have these breakout sessions, because some people, they get emotional in these sessions. And last time we did it and we didn't have that in place. I think that was because you opening up wounds. You need professionals to help people when they start going through their emotional stuff, right? Men and women. But the breakout sessions are going to be the sisters talking to the sisters about real stuff, and the brothers talking to the brothers about real stuff. And why it has to be a breakout session, so you can be real. So no one is shy in front of the others, just all women and all men. And y'all go ahead and work it out, right? Let me see that. Mm. Well, if men are embarrassed in front of homies, they need to man up. I ain't never seen a man I was embarrassed in front of, right? Listen, we men, we should be able to kick it. When you're in our sessions, we men. So if you soft as cotton, I don't know what to tell you. You need to go. They need a medium. Say, all right, man. Listen, we men. We up against too much to be soft. Seriously. And I know everybody ain't like that. I know you better get like that. What we dealing with, you better get some tough skin, bro. We don't need no men who can't handle man stuff. We need men, period. And we need men that can deal with men. Our enemies are men. They misguided and kufar, maybe, but they're men. And we better be men too. So, and a man don't necessarily always mean violent. A man just is principled, right? You don't have to be the toughest guy on the planet. I'm not a big guy. I'm a little guy. I'm not a big guy. Ask the guys that was in prison. I was probably one of the littlest dudes in the jail. I ain't a big dude, right? But I got principles, right? So it ain't have nothing to do with your ability to hurt somebody. Well, we all can hurt people, but we're men. So the man, whether he's big, small, little, tall, don't matter. He's a man at the end of the day. We used to have a saying in the prison. So, in jail, you got guys who go, they have an alternative lifestyle because we are on Facebook. So let me be politically correct so they don't flag us and knock us off. So in the prison, you got people that have an alternative lifestyle. And sometimes brothers be talking slick to those dudes. And you have to remind them, I know dude got an alternative lifestyle, but he'll still knock you out and stick one in you. So watch yourself. I know he got an alternative lifestyle. He'll still knock you out and stick one in you. So be careful. Don't just assume because he got that alternative lifestyle, he's a punk. No, that's not necessarily the case. He might air you out, and I've seen it. I've seen dudes messing with guys with an alternative lifestyle and get aired out and be quite embarrassed. But he's still a man at the end of the day. No matter what he's doing, he's still a physical male. And real stuff. So as men, we still got to be men. And we Muslims, so they should really be a man. And manhood is important. Manhood is important. Women need men. That's our problem. We don't got men. We have a lot of brothers who need improvement in their manhood. Let me say that. And manhood to me is responsibility and principles. That's it. You're responsible and you are principled. If you have those two qualities, that's sufficient in your manhood. Of course, with your knowledge of the religion and all that, but all that is part of being responsible to learn your religion. But if you got principles and you are responsible, that's manhood. You know the rights of Allah upon you and you fulfill them with excellence. That's manhood. So, and the women need the same thing. And women, strong women should help the weaker women, and strong men should help the weaker men. You follow what I mean? So that man talk and that woman talk is needed because men going to check men, right? And a strong woman is going to check a woman, right? If you out of pocket, I'm going to tell you, you out of pocket. And if I'm out of pocket, I expect you to tell me I'm out of pocket, right? Man, you totally out of pocket, right? That's how we have to be. So, but that needs to be private because if I tell you out of pocket in front of the sisters, you may not listen and be offended. You might not do nothing, but you may walk away with your feelings hurt. Why you embarrass me in front of the sisters? So we'll be me and you. Then I'll have that talk with you, and you should have that talk with me, right? We men. Y'all follow me? So those are going to be breakout sessions, and then, man, it's all gone. I got to talk about the rest tomorrow. Time is flying. I have things to do today. Oh, I can cover it briefly. The day starts at Fajr, 4:45 in the morning at Masjid Muhammad. So it's going to be a rough weekend. We ain't come here to sleep. We came here to get busy. So our day start at 4:45. So from 4:45 to 8 o'clock, Fajr, Awrad, some adhkar. We'll make them short so they don't be too long. A lesson, some post-Fajr reflection type lessons, and breakfast at the masjid. And we should finish all that by 8 o'clock. By 8 o'clock, you can go back, rest up for an hour, and then get yourself together and be at the venue, Soldiers Home, by 10 o'clock. This is a real full schedule. And it'll give you some discipline, inshallah. This session, we're not going to have a full, complete discussion of business because we're not ready even to work together yet. We don't trust one another to do business. I had a discussion with my brother yesterday. Let me share this quick story with you. So he was showing me some guy talking about how to come together and make money. I said, man, we can do that with ease. What are you talking about? He said, just get 20 people. I said, we have 20 people I can name off the top of my head to do that. The problem is we don't want to trust each other to work together. We all have 20 people to do business as a group, as a collective. We are millionaires together. And this right online right now, I guarantee you is 50 people that could give $5,000 if they were serious with ease to do something together. The problem is you don't trust one another. That's it. It ain't that you can't do it. There are 50 people right here that can put up $5,000 and not even look at it. I guarantee you it is here. So it ain't the issue of the money. It's the issue of the trust. And you can't do business even if you got money if you don't trust one another. So you have to develop trust first. You have to develop love for one another, commitment for one another before you do anything. And that's what we're trying to get done at this session. That we actually get to know each other and believe in each other, right? And I tell you, every week we gotta beat us over the head just to do our $500. How are we gonna do business? And we have everybody could give $5 a week, and we would have that $500. But they don't. It's some people giving 100, it's some people giving 20, and a few people giving 10. It's very unbalanced. Don't think that everybody's contributing. They don't. It is a few people contributing. So in order to build that, we have to build a trust. That's why I said we have to be on the ground. So business, that's going to be later. Now, maybe what we will do is when we get to know each other, we'll discover how we could do business together. A few of us, but as a collective, no. But a few of us, yeah, we might, because we get to meet each other, we get to talk each other, right? We could do that, right? A few of us. And I'm definitely know that's important. But you know what we all have to do? I'm telling you, our objective at the summit is to raise $100,000 towards this work, which is nothing. It's not a lot of money, but we're going to go for it. So all of you coming, realize that we have a mission we're doing. Because it's all talk if we're not willing to put our money towards the work. It ain't going very far. If y'all think of Malcolm X, Al-Hajj Malik Shabazz, his biggest issue was he didn't have no money. He had bright ideas. He had a beautiful system, but no money to support it. Right? If he would have had financial support, with financial support, he may have had proper security to protect him. You never think about this point. Because he didn't have money, he didn't even have the proper security around him. Because to have the proper security, You got to have bread because you got to pay somebody that's secure, that's just really trained, that know what they're doing, that can see things, right? But you got to pay for that. Other than that, you won't have the homie watching your back who don't know nothing about security. And that's how you get smoked, right? But if you have money, you have real people who that's their job to protect their leaders, to protect their community. You need money to do that, right? To do all the traveling he needed to do, he need money to do that. He couldn't because we didn't support. We just waved our pom-poms, but we didn't put up the money behind it. So that is an element that we have to think about it, right? We have to, we have to really take care of this financial issue. So some people got to be dedicated. That's why I said the serious people, right? And to fulfill what we're talking about takes a lot of money, a lot, if we're serious. Someone asked me, we was talking about Friday, they was talking about other organizations and how the immigrant organizations are doing this and they build a school. I said that people give money. They give money. That's simple. They give money. And I've seen the budgets. People give. People, they put it as a part of their bills to take care of their institutions. Like they buy cable, they invest in their institutions. So when they do their monthly bills, $1,000 a month, $500 a month goes to the institution. That's how they do it. So now the institution is in a position to do the work. It's not just talking about the work; they can actually do it. So we have to get that thing together. So I'm letting you know our goal is going to be at the summit. That's going to be our goal. We have to do the work, right? If we other than that, we're talking. And I'm giving you, we just went to Houston for the Sheikh's funeral. That trip was a little over $2,000 for one trip. One trip. When we go as the Black Imams to go do those seminars, that stuff costs us about $3,000 to $4,000 every time we go. Hotels, rental cars, airplanes, that stuff costs money. So, and we don't charge the poor communities that we go to because they don't have that kind of money, right? So if we're going to continue to work, that's what it takes. So all of that, this is a beefy thing we're doing here, but we're going to lay it out. Trust me. And we're going to have intimate conversations between us so that we really get to see where we at. You have to interact with people to really know where they at. This internet stuff is great, but it don't tell you who's who. You know what I mean? So we have today's Sunday. So inshallah, we have 5 more days before this thing starts. And the schedule will be out, the full schedule, by Thursday, if not earlier. We have the schedules done, but we got to plug in who's speaking where because of their own times. The speakers are still working that out. So they're negotiating who's going to be where, what time, and we were at Ramadan, so it was very difficult to get people together. But the schedule is from 10 to 10 on Saturday. That's at the venue. from 4:45 to 8 at the masjid. So that includes the morning, the prayer, fajr, the morning iftar, the morning lesson, breakfast, and then we finish that by 8. Then you go back to your hotels, get yourself together, and you know be at the uh, venue by 10. So you're not going to get a lot of sleep, but 3 days of a little bit of sleep for our collective good won't kill you, right? Uh, so organize your clothing, your stuff, so you don't waste time, right? So have your clothes already ironed, laid out, what you're going to wear, so you can just move, right? Any quick questions? Sunday end time is 8 o'clock at night. Really, if you want to take your dinner, because we're going to have dinners to go on Sunday, so we'll end at 6:30, so you could actually be out by 7. But for those who want to sit down and eat and talk, you have no, there will not be vending because we don't have space because of the number of people attending. And we tried it last year and it didn't work. It was a mess. Uh, the building is 3 floors, but when we had so many people, it just took up all the space with tables, and the vendors lost out. They didn't make. No, this will be nothing for children. Not you're responsible for your own children. We don't even have babysitting. Unless somebody want to volunteer to watch your children, but I can't put that on nobody. This is really an adult thing. Your children are welcome, but your children are your responsibility. No halal food trucks on the curbs. There will be food. We give lunch, we give dinner, and then there will be snacks for sale throughout the event, like food items for sale throughout the event. But we give breakfast, we're going to have lunch, and we're going to have dinner. We'll take care of that. So you don't have to pay for that. No, there will be Starbucks. There will be Starbucks. Count on it. I'm going to have me some Starbucks. There will be Starbucks. But Starbucks is right next to, it's not very close. It's not far. Starbucks is like 5 minutes away from the venue. No, don't worry. It'll be people to help you though. Don't worry, Sister Rashida. It's sisters. Sisters are thorough. I'll volunteer Sister Miriam to watch your children. Since she ain't bringing her grandchildren or kids, she can watch yours. MashaAllah. Okay, we good? We a family. We'll look out for each other. Don't worry about it. You'll see. We are family people. We're not going to leave each other out. We watch each other's back. We ain't those kind of people. You'll see. You won't come here and feel like you're not family. It's not gonna happen. I won't tolerate it. If you come to Atlantic City, you got to feel like a family. Don't come acting like you're not family, and no one here is going to treat you like you're not family. Nah. I'm serious about that, right? I'm serious about that. When you here, we look out for each other. We protect each other. We are concerned for each other. Your pain is my pain. That's just how we have to be. And I mean that. That's not something I compromise. So you don't got to worry about feeling by yourself and no one's here to help you. That's not going to happen. Okay, Barakallahu Bikum. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Inshallah. Today is Sunday. Yeah. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.